At this time, we move to the local honorees this evening, and to present the first award, we welcome to the microphone a man who knows a thing or two about swimming, diving, and all things water, and he's back from the paddock where the polo horses are, the water polo horses are. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Terry Lowe.
It's such an honor for me to be here to introduce one of my own, John Loughran. Let's begin with his athletic accomplishments as a Greenwich Cardinal. What a hard-nosed competitor he was, tough as nails. As a swimmer, he was the 1975 State Open champion in both the 200 and 500 freestyle. I think that's 85. All right? And 30 years later, his name remains in all the top 10 all-time 500 men at GHS. As a water polo player, Loughran was a fierce competitor. In the 1984 championship game of the Cardinal tournament, twice he battled and drew a major foul for a penalty shot. Twice I had a teammate take the shot, and twice that player missed. We ended up losing by 2. And in no uncertain terms, John let me know what a mistake I had made and that he certainly would have nailed those shots. Despite my coaching, John was a water polo All-American. Later, he came back to Greenwich High School to help me become a better coach, standing on the GHS pool deck. Collegiately, John maintained his outstanding swimming and water polo performance at Loyola Chicago, where he's a 4-year letterman in both sports. One of John's earliest successes as a water polo coach came in 1993 when he took a Greenwich club team to California to its first ever Junior Olympic tournament. They stunned the California crowd with win after win, taking them to the Final Four. That was a feat that took over 40 years for a Greenwich club to duplicate. Twice, John took over collegiate programs that were in total disarray. As a cocksure 24-year-old, he became the head coach for Queens College. In his first season, the team went 4-24. But by season 4, John led Queens to its first Eastern Collegiate Championship, repeating as champions the next year. On a college that is not exactly renowned for athletic success, John was dubbed the King of Queens. But the mecca of collegiate water polo called, and John was off to California. In 1997, he was hired to coach both the Loyola Marymount men and women's team. The men's team was at rock bottom. It had not even been able to complete its previous season. No miracle worker, LMU's men team finished last in his conference in John's first year. But by 2000, John had elevated the men's team to its first Western Collegiate Conference Championship. Starting the LMU women's program in 1998, John quickly developed the team into conference champions, winning 5 consecutive titles from 2001 to 2005, and making 7 NCAA tournaments. In the 2004 NCAA tournament, his LMU women beat Stanford in the Final Four, only to lose to an undefeated USC team in the title game. After 12 seasons and 256 wins, he retired from coaching the Lion women. Probably John's proudest accomplishment is taking the LMU men's team to an incredible 8 NCAA Final Fours. But to his disappointment, the LMU men never made it to the championship game. 8 semifinal losses, heartbreakingly losing 4 times by a single goal, including 1 overtime defeat. Twice, I was lucky enough to see his team in action in their final 4 games when the tournament came east, to Bucknell in 2005, to Princeton in 2009. Shortly after that 2009 tournament, John was diagnosed with leukemia. But while undergoing treatment, John, with his characteristic grit, kept the show going on. And in 2010, LMU was back in the NCAA for the 8th time. There is no greater honor than recognition by your peers. 4 times, John received Coach of the Year honors while at Queens. At LMU, John was named the Western Water Polo Association Coach of the Year 9 times. Demanding that his players meet his competitive standards, John Loughran raised both Queens and Loyola Marymount out of the rubble and built those teams into consistent championship programs. Now a short video. He may be the King of Queens and the Lion of LMU. Nonetheless, he is forever a Greenwich Cardinal, John Loughran.
Thank you, Coach Lowe. I should probably just sit down and go on and accept the award after that. It's very flattering. So my junior year in high school, my ego was probably misplaced, as many of us are. And I thought I should have been starting or playing. And my father said, well, let's have a meeting with Coach Lowe. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And these are life-defining moments. So go out to meet my father in the parking lot for a meeting that's before classes and after morning workout. And as I approach my father, this feeling of dread overcomes me. And what were you thinking, John? These 2 guys are a lot alike, and this is not going to go well for you. So a half hour later, after my issues as a person and athlete were made very clear, it was definitely a moment that I didn't forget through the rest of my athletic career, and through my coaching career. Had a great impact because as a coach, it teaches you how to have those uncomfortable, difficult conversations, and if the athlete knows that you care, those conversations generally work out. But so impactful was that conversation that 25 plus years later, we were at Bucknell University playing in the NCAA championship, and in the semifinal game, we lost to Stanford University by a goal. And as all coaches know, you should be winning the 1-goal games. And I walk out after team meeting and walk out to the area outside the pool, and I see my father talking to Terry, and I had a panic attack and like, shit, you better get on the bus and get out of here. So, thank you, Coach. But it brings to the fact that Coach Lowe has been such a great mentor and friend of the importance of mentorship for young people, not only coaching and athletics, but in all aspects and all careers, and the importance of making yourself available to be a mentor. Especially at our age, we all have our thousands of hours of expertise, and it's really an opportunity to give back. I want to thank the Old Timers Association for this award. As a coach, I've been lucky enough to be honored in different situations, but truly, this is the one that I find most satisfying and very touching for me and my family. I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Merritt, who's here. She's been by my side for 25 years of the peaks and valleys of life, and I love her and appreciate her. My children are here. It's very special. My children, Maeve and Finn, here, who Merritt and I are so proud of, and they bring us so much joy. My cousins, the Highlands, are here, and I appreciate them and their friendship. We have a very small extended family, and we're very tight with the Highland family, and we appreciate them. I want to thank my brothers for being here and being some of my greatest fans and supporters during my coaching career. One of the best things about our family and the fortunate things is as brothers, we're all best friends, and we are all here for each other and support each other. I want to thank my parents, who are very proud Greenwich residents. They would have loved this event and would have loved to be here. One of the special things I think about growing up in Greenwich is the sense of community that you get and the sense of people who love to give back. And this event is a very strong example of that. When I moved to Los Angeles, one of the last things my father said to me was, "Don't forget where you're from." And I think he meant that in a number of ways. He meant that family and your values, but also your community. You know, as a parent, after your child is 3 or 4 years old, after you've done your work up to that point, the number one indicator for success for your child is not what you do as a parent. You know, the science says it's who your children's peer group is, who your children's friends are, and who your children's friends' parents are. And I think when you grow up in a community and you look around and you understand that we raise successful people here because of the community that is involved. And I think that says so much about Greenwich and so much about living here and so much about growing up here. Between coaching men's and women's teams, I was able to coach 50 seasons in the NCAA. And one of the things I really tried to do is building each team was building a sense of community and family. And we were able to do that and win a number of championships, which is quite satisfying as a coach. You want to be winning. But I got the most satisfaction as seeing student athletes graduating, moving on with strong relationships with their teammates and their friends. And this led to building a strong alumni association that was very supportive of our programs. And to me, that was the greatest success. I would see plenty of programs in our university where students weren't willing to come back and give. And I really felt I was able to build a community and a sense of family, and that's something that I'm very proud of. There's another organization in town that I would like you to consider supporting. It's the Greenwich Boys Club and Girls Club. And it was the Boys Club back in my era, and that's where I learned to swim, and that's where I learned to be competitive. And that is a place where I really found special because it didn't matter what side of town you were, what neighborhood you're from, but everyone was the same. And I think that they've seen some improvements lately, and I think that the aquatics program, which has turned out, in my era, a number of great aquatics athletes, water polo players and swimmers that went on to the high school that were successful, and I would love to start seeing them do that again. I know they're in the building process, and I know they're improving. So if you could find your way to support that, that would be great. And many people may not know, but my brother Tom was a very, very good diver at the Boys Club, and that is something I really hope he continues to pick up again, because Tom, I do have a Speedo for you, ready to go. Unfortunately, Jimmy, I do not have a Speedo for you. Don't give a little brother a mic because it's payback time. Sorry. I got lost on Jimmy and a Speedo, sorry. He's going to kill me. Something that I really appreciate about my brothers and my family, and that is very special to me, is that if you're friends with one of us, you're friends with all of us. There may be some trial periods for some, and that's to be expected. But that, I think, is special among us brothers. We are all best friends, and if you're a friend of ours, friend of one, you're a friend of all. My brothers have friends here that I've grown up with that are friends with mine now, and I really appreciate them being here. Some of my oldest friends are here from Western Junior High School. I really appreciate them being here and supporting this cause. And some of my friends from Greenwich High School are here, and friends that I competed with. And I want to thank you all for being here and supporting this cause. I'm grateful to have such a long and satisfying career as coaching. I got to coach so many fantastic people and athletes and build relationships with them and have long-lasting relationships with them. And watching them to be successful, to me, is always more satisfying than winning championships. So as the Thanksgiving season approaches, I want to encourage everyone to be thankful for what they have. It's very difficult to practice gratitude sometimes, but if you have a loving family and great friendships, it's usually everything that you need. As a leukemia survivor, I want to encourage all of you to consider giving blood, platelets this Christmas season. It is needed, and it's a wonderful gift that you can give to someone, and quite easy to do. I want to leave you with the Irish toast Sláinte, which literally translated health. But as many Irish things do, it has many meanings. But one of the meanings I found to like the most is the meaning of to keep laughing, keep living, and to remember where you're from. So, Sláinte.